Krut The Mythic Wings is the latest game from Thai designers Pixel Perfects, along with developers Good Job Multimedia and producers RSU Horizon. It attempts to emulate the old hack-and-slash arcade action of the early 90s, even going so far as to not have any type of save system whatsoever. After a few of the more frustrating hours of my gaming life, I've beaten the title so that I could bring you this spoiler-free review. The game starts with 15 or so minutes, depending on how fast you choose to press A to go through the dialogue, of opening cutscenes. They're static images which are overlaid with text explaining this mythical world where bird people are under siege from very large and angry rock trolls. It is a lot of exposition, and the translation is decent enough to at least be easily understood. Then you get into the gameplay. When I said this game was trying to be a retro arcade throwback, I really meant it. If for any reason you ever need to stop playing and come back later, once you leave a run, you must restart from the beginning. That's right, there's no save system of any type. And if you are going to beat this $10 budget title, you must start from scratch, and for a game that froze on me multiple times, it was one of the most frustrating games of my life to try and play through for a review. There are 6 levels in total, each lasting between 10 and 20 minutes. While the controls feel bad, but not terrible, the game ends up being balls hard. This is because if you hit an enemy, they are not stunned and rarely ever react. But if an enemy hits you, it's an immediate stun lock, and you are not getting out of it until their attack ends. The controls are your standard fare otherwise, though, with X being your light attack, Y is your heavy, B is an incredibly powerful dodge that can be used at any time, even if you are mid-swing, and A is jump. You have 2 meters, health and energy. Once the energy meter is filled, you can press both bumpers and unleash your hover around and shoot out energy from your sword super move that heals you for 1 HP for hit as well. That super move is hilarious at times because with most enemies, you can find a spot that breaks their AI and just spend 15 seconds or so wailing away at their health bar. Heavy attacks use your energy meter, so I'd advise against using them because the super move is just so much more powerful. Also, most of your time in combat will be spent on the ground, pressing X twice, maybe 3 times, and then immediately dodging through your foe who's going to attack you no matter what you do. You will end up doing this with every ground-based enemy until the game is over, whether a normal enemy or a boss. This is the main thing you do, and it became pretty boring about 5 minutes in. There are air-based enemies who mostly shoot projectiles and feel extremely cheap to try and fight. Invariably, you just end up chasing them with jumps while pressing X twice to take them out, over and over and over again. There is a combo system built into things, but the majority of the time you can't do any of the combos because enemies just attack you in the early parts of them and knock you out of doing that combo. Another major issue is that every level layout feels the same, not only with enemy types constantly repeating, but with your never-ending quest of just getting to the right. A few levels do mix this up by having impossibly tall and suspended on nothing in midair platforms that you have to go left for a bit to get on, then you head back right again. The midway point of each level has a checkpoint stone and a mini-boss. These all play the same. You run up, swipe at them a few times with your light attack, then dash through them, or jump if they do a ground pound. There is a light upgrade system that you can access at those checkpoint stones, but the fact that each stone costs 1,000 souls to activate makes it nearly impossible to ever upgrade all the way. If you do wait a minute and run back through an area, all the enemies will respawn, so you can grind if you wanted to, but if you die 3 times, it's game over and you have to start from the beginning of the level. It really is just a run to the right, face the same crab or plant enemy 10 times, fight a mini-boss, repeat, and fight an end boss structure. It never changes. And everything looks like it would have been at home, albeit at a much lower resolution on a PS1. This looks like a jazzed up phone game from 2012 with stiff animations, low resolution texture work, and very bland backgrounds. There is no voice acting to be heard, but the soundtrack is surprisingly good. It is the star of the game overall, simply by being the most competent part. Obviously, I don't want to sound mean, but playing through this game for review was a dismal experience. If I could have just saved and come back later, it would have helped immensely, especially after having it freeze on me multiple times when I was deep into a run, and then I had to start from scratch all over again. It felt like the developers were going for a score-focused, run-based nature, but it doesn't work in the game's favor at all. One positive is that the platforming didn't feel terrible. It was odd at times and a bit jumpy, but things could feel nice and responsive. The combo system, though, is completely wasted because the enemies just never really react to your attacks. They do what they're gonna do, so it just feels like you're hitting them with feathers instead of steel. In conclusion, at $10, if you are jonesing for a hit of that old-time, low-budget arcade nostalgia, I still can't recommend this game. With a bland, uninteresting, and predictable story, repetitive and awful-feeling combat, poor enemy variety, and the maddening decision to have no save system mixed with constant freezes and crashes, this game is simply not worth your time. Thank you so much for watching, and if you can like, comment, and subscribe, YouTube loves it, and it'll help us grow. And we'll see you here next time on XboxEra.